25 million people continue to be exposed to asbestos in the workplace.
So there's a big cost to humans using asbestos in dollars and lives.
Research that goes into these decisions has to be directed by independent, unconflicted scientists.
It's not something that just affects workers, it affects everyone.
Saving one life is great, but saving many more is what I hope to accomplish.
Making a profit off of people's pain and lives is wrong.
We can't quit, not as long as there are hundreds of thousands of people still to be diagnosed.
Ban the asbestos once and for all.
The next speaker is Fernanda Giannasi, the leader of the Ban Asbestos movement in Brazil.
Hello, thanks to all of you and Linda, and I'm going to share my time with my colleague, my dearest friend Marcia Kamei. She's a labor prosecutor. We have been together for the last 15 years, yes, fighting against the lobby, the asbestos lobby, the damn asbestos lobby. And to start, as you know, and I'm proud to repeat, we reached the banning of asbestos in Brazil, ruled by the Supreme Court in November 2017. At least our ban was approved by the Supreme Court because you are aware we have a new president, a proto-fascist Bolsonaro, and this man is really dangerous, not only for Brazil, he is dangerous for the Latin America, okay? Together, Mr. Trump, we are in risk. Okay, Eternit after the ban, the announcement of the ban asbestos by the Supreme Court, released this document saying that they were finishing the production of asbestos cement products in Brazil, and the remaining Eternit plants were changing the technology. But in that moment, they were appealing to continue exploring the asbestos mining, because Brazil is was in that moment, the third major producer of asbestos worldwide.
First of all, I think I have to explain our role and the institution that I am representing here. In Brazil, we have a singular institution, the Federal Labor Prosecution Office, and our role is on this asbestos issue in Brazil is, besides the criminal lawsuits, we have the attribution to investigating irregularities practiced by public agents, enterprises, entrepreneurs, and citizens in relevant issues for the society, such as asbestos case. Yes, we are independent, we have autonomy, and we are not subordinated to any of the three powers of the Republic, neither the executive or legislative, nor the judiciary system. And we have our autonomy ensured by the Constitution, and which also assures us independent budgetary guidelines. In 2012, the LPO created the National Asbestos Banning Program. It is a strategic project approved and subordinated to the Labor Attorney General. I am currently the manager of this program, which has three other prosecutors working on it, Mr. Luciano Leivas, Lorena Porto, and Daniela Elbert. Before the asbestos program, we used to have civil inquiries throughout the country, and they were scattered. But after that, the program, we could have a comprehensive understanding of the whole problem. So asbestos enabled us to see the big picture. And I will try to explain the singular situation that we are living in Brazil. As Fernanda told you, the Brazilian Supreme Court stated the unconstitutionality of the federal law that allowed the chrysotile control to use in Brazil in 2017. Weber less than 1 month later, Unions Confederation got an injunction by the Justice Rosa Weber, and the effects of this decision were suspended until the official publishing. The official publishing happened on February of this year, thankfully. Afterwards, Eternit announced that its subsidiary mining company, Sama, has suspended mining activity. Pay attention, suspended mining activities in Minasu. Is it the end of the story? Unfortunately not. And it is a not situation, because last year I came here to say that the unconstitutionality of the law had been stated, but the mining production was still running. And now I have the grateful task to tell you that they have stopped the mining activity. And also all the fiber cement activities with asbestos. However, and we have a however here, I cannot say how long it will last. Yes, because the Union Confederation appealed again. And the court can decide what will be the phase-out period. It turns out that while the final decision doesn't come, the miners' workers had their contracts suspended and they are not earning their salaries with the union's consent. So it is a hard pressure of the Supreme Court.
Yes, we need the support. We need to push our Supreme Court to not give any extra time to phase out or to decommission of the plant. Here, in their appeal, the company, the only company, the asbestos mining, they claim their plan to go on producing asbestos raw fibers only for exportation to Asia, USA, and Germany for chlor-alkali companies. They begged for additional 10 years to continue exploring the ore and to decommission the site. These appeals don't have any scheduled session to be concluded. For this, all pressure we globally do will help the victims, will help the next generations. The import of asbestos from Brazil by these companies is greatly used as an alibi to ensure that there are developed countries still using asbestos as USA, as Germany, totally different from our claims. They try to say that we lie because we say that all the developed world had already banned asbestos. Here, this week, the workers from Minasu, from the asbestos mine, they protested at the Supreme Court building, and they asked to reopen the mine only for exporting to Asia, to USA, to Germany. This was a huge protest they organized in Brasilia this week. The American multinational ADAO is currently the remaining company using asbestos in Brazil in its chlor-alkali plant for diaphragms and challenges the state law of Bahia that banned asbestos, as well as the Supreme Court's decision, threatening to close the plant in Brazil, firing all the workers. They are not buying, like here in USA, they are not buying new loads of asbestos. They stored the asbestos to use for several years ahead.
Well, the LPO sued 7 companies and got pretrial settlement with 3 others. In those lawsuits they were filed before the declaration of unconstitutionality, and our aim was to get companies' condemnation to exchange asbestos for alternative fibers. And we also seek for compensation to the society moral distress. I'm going to talk about 2 important lawsuits in which 2 circuit courts have ruled compensations. The first one in Rio de Janeiro, the LPO filed a class action, and the circuit court confirmed the judge decision condemning Eternit to pay moral damages of 12 million. The other one was filed by the federal prosecution of the Republic, in which environmental damages were recognized and determined Sama and Saint-Gobain to pay compensation of 7.5 million. However, Eternit, as you know, required a court supervision reorganization in bankruptcy. Yes. It is an additional problem that we have to face, and it's harder because in Brazil they are not required to have insurance, and that's a good question.
Okay, Marcia can't hear this because as a prosecutor, she doesn't like this word. But in Bahia, we have a real perfect social crime. This site, and Linda will visit very soon, we need help and to give visibility for this environment and social disaster at the old asbestos mine that was owned by Saint-Gobain, the French group, from 1939 and 1967. Here you can see it, I showed this several times, but this is so shocking. Children living and playing in the middle of the waste of chrysotile asbestos, playing innocently with this as sand we have on our beaches. They don't have beach because it's in a very dry area in our country. Here, they use the lake that was formed by the cave where they explored asbestos like a lake. In the weekends, it's a club, and they ignore the problem. Here, several assemblies we are organizing with families, victims, and widows. And here, one of the most shocking photo, this guy, he received as a compensation a watch and a cap with the logo of the asbestos mine company. And here, we have this exhibition. We are visiting different places with this exhibition. It's a tragedy, a social environmental tragedy with proportions until now ignored. And we invite you to come with us, to help us to give visibility for this situation, to constrain our government, especially in this moment, terrible we are living, to help us to maintain the law. And we support Alan Heinstein's law to ban asbestos in USA.